The good word, everybody. This is your man, is the one that is the man in the middle, Big Storm, and this is the state of basketball. BW Sports One original broadcast brought to you by Lead Performance, Revved Up Tattoos, My Bookie, Doc Sports Picks, Printed Memories, Fighters Friend, and What's Poppin' Corn Snacks. So, back again for our summer series. What's up, Big Storm?
Hey, man, what's going on, man? How was your week, man?
And the week was good.
Weeks,
I didn't do much.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, I didn't do much. Recovering well. Got the pads for football. Got all the last accessories for football. Like, we're ready to go.
Good deal. I have family coming down. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yo, you.
I did have some family come in town, which was cool. We hit up the fair. They're from Indy, but left and been in Florida for some decades, really. But the call of the fair got them, so they came in town. We had a good time. Spent way more money than I wanted to. Hey, man, going on that all $3 third. Hey, man, $3 third. I know it's a ton of people, though, right? It's got a ton of people there, but that $3 sounds good to me right now.
The fair is calling me, and I understand about the $3 Thursday. It'd be a whole bunch of people, but we've kind of got it to the point now, like, we go during the day. I don't care. Yeah. Like, if that thing opened at if it opened at 11, I'm there at 11:45, and I'm calling it in a couple hours. I'm not flirting around with these individuals later on in the evenings. I can't do it, but we're going Friday. We're going Friday.
You going
it's going to be the daughter's legal skip day.
Oh, okay. Already, huh? They skipping already? Huh?
Well, she is. I'm gonna let her. Hey, it's her senior year, girl. Boy, man, come on. First week of school, senior skip day. The boy too. We all sick. No, but really everything is good. I think for the network, we started the new season 4 for Dukes of Football. So we got that jumping off. It was a crazy episode talking about the AFC East and the NFC East. So that was pretty fun. We'll do the West this week. So, but other than that, it's good to go.
Yeah, sorry about the passing of Bill Russell. Can't let the show go without giving the condolences. Great ambassador of the game. And I'm sure when we get to the centers, we're going to be on him.
Oh, definitely gonna be on him for the centers because I mean, as we talk of overall greatness, you got to put him in the top 3, top 4, top 5 when it comes to all-time greats or as the great. You know what I mean? 8 straight rings is an accomplishment of no man. Like I heard him say, we'll do all this scoring, all that kind of stuff. I'll just keep winning championships.
I just keep getting chips.
So, but yeah, speaking of that, talking about big guys. So, he's a part 4 of the Under the Backboards discussion series. We're moving towards the bigger guys now. We're getting into the paint dominators, and we brought along some more panel members. We got another one of our up and coming favorite panel members. Mr. Mike, or Coach Mike Elliott, you know what I mean? Coach
What's
Elliott.
up?
We got to take advantage because we only got him for about another 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that he's getting going real good. And then we got another old Indianapolis guy, old North Central guy, old Larry Henry, coming in to join us for the first time on this panel. What's going
Man,
on,
what's up,
fella?
fellas? How y'all doing,
Welcome,
man? What's up
welcome.
with y'all?
Hey, Dane, before we go forward, I don't know if we let these guys, let the audience know where this knowledge of basketball comes from. So if you guys could just take a minute to just run down your credentials of why we choose you guys because of the high IQ, where it comes from, how it continues, just a little bit about you guys' basketball history.
Well, man, I'm from Nat, born and raised. Kind of started playing basketball at the Wheelers Boys Club at the ripe age of 5 years old in Biddy, man, when the course was low. Went to North Central, played there. And then just after that, I went to junior college where I'm coaching at now. Learn how to be hungry in JUCO. That's what JUCO was about for me. Just being able to really be a killer and put it in different perspectives. Went out to Montana State, played there 2 years, Hall of Famer, NCAA tournament my senior year. Then I played overseas for 10 and a half. Got out of that, got right into coaching, high school, coached high school for about 16 years. Then I've been on the collegiate level for 2, going on the 3rd. So I got a little bit of background, man. I know a little bit of something. I got a chance. I think the one thing that I got a chance to see decades of the game change from being a 70s kid, watching the 80s. Then Mike came and dominated the 90s. Then the Spurs did their thing, and then Kobe did their thing, and then now I get a chance to watch Bronny and then these new boys that's coming in here in a couple years.
Good deal, good deal. So, Larry, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Man, I was a Tad and Riverside kid. So initially, my pops handed that ball to me, man, when I was little, man. So I started off playing at Tad, obviously born and raised in from Indianapolis. But yeah, Tad was the spot, man. And then whenever I was over my grandmother's on the west side, Riverside was it. Shout out to Coach Tony Johnson over there at Riverside. Shout out to them, man, and North Central alone, right behind, a couple years behind Mike. Man, really learned the game there, man, and really studied and learned the game there. Class of '95, first year in college, went to IUPUI. That was the year Carlos Knox was there. Man, we had some guys that year, especially out of Indianapolis. We had Christopher Sutton. He was from Washington. He was class of '95. We had Desmond Rutland. At that time, Jay Price from another North Central alum. He was with us. James Gardner.
Desmond Rutland. Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah, James Gardner, rest in peace. He was there.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, for IUPUI, that was when Coach Ron Hunter was there. So he was trying to get a lot of local guys in the surrounding areas between Chicago, between Illinois and Ohio and Indianapolis. And man, that was a time of my life. I'll never forget, man. We had those summers right before my freshman year. We used to hoop over at IUPUI, man. Mike could tell you, man, those were some runs, man.
Yeah, those are some good runs.
Yeah. It was at that time. It was all in Indianapolis. All of the city of Indianapolis there at them runs. Yep. Nips and the what is it? The not college, the natatorium.
Yeah,
the natatorium. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, man. And then after my freshman year, I ended up transferring out to Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. Shout out to LU. Got the hat on. HBCU.
Yeah.
Finished out there, man, and then after that, got going with working career and all that sort of stuff, man, and kind of got into the political thing. I was a city councilman for 6 years, from 2012 to 2018. Doing some stuff locally in the with the community. So that's where I'm at now, and now down in Orlando, Florida. I run treatment programs, drug court treatment programs. I do clinical counseling and all that sort of stuff now as well. And so yeah, man, all of that combined from Indianapolis to now, everything we went through and all that hooping in Indianapolis, man, that prepared me for where I'm at now, man. And so yeah, man, Indianapolis we had some talent come up out of there, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I
buddy.
remember that 95, that couple years of IUPUI, because Hunter was recruiting me from Paris. Well, I was down at JC down in Texas, and Ron Hunter was recruiting me down there. And I'd already put it in my head, I wasn't playing for IUPUI. I said, I know, and it wasn't nothing against it. Just at that time, being young and dumb and stupid, you know what I'm saying? I was like, if I'm not going D1, I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he almost got me. He almost got me.
Yeah. And the crazy part about this, I think now is the game has evolved so much to where it doesn't even matter where you go.
Right.
It doesn't even matter where you go. And at that time, if y'all recall, IUPUI was transitioning into D1 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 years away or something.
And then when he had Carlos Knox, man, that just put IUPUI on the map.
Yeah.
At that point in time. But yeah, man, Mikey will tell you, man, them summer runs, man, we used to have over there, man, was woof. Some of everybody from the city was there.
Yeah, that was kind of the spot where we came home. I got a chance to do it more like when I started overseas, like my first year and I came home. That was where you kind of tested, see what level you was at. They had Don Carlisle and them guys that came in and, it was kind of I helped put their boots on and they was hungry. I was hungry. It was, at a college court. And Hunter always wanted us to come in because he knew that whoever is at IUPUI, if you can play against these guys in the city, then we got a really good chance during the season. So it was just kind of iron sharpens iron at that time. Shout out to Ron. Ron, he was hard to play for. Him and Kevin Jones, but they did a great thing for the city at that time.
They did, really did.
Well, all right, guys, let's get it rolling.
All right, let's go, man. They got to talk about some old runs, man. That
was
fun times.
We over here talking about.
We ain't even got into the peace games at Tech. We ain't even talking about the peace games. Hey, none of that. We ain't even got into that shit. Yeah.
All that.
Well, that was when we was hooping 3 times a day, man. We had the morning, afternoon, and evening sessions.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still found time to go to the club. All right, so fellas, we talking power forwards today. We've done point guards, we've done the 2s, we've done the 3s. Now we're coming into what I think might be the most diverse group of all the positions. You know what I'm saying? Like you got power forwards that can do everything, and you got power forwards that is role driven, defensive roles like Dennis Rodman, where he specialized in defensive and rebounding. And then you had guys like Tim Duncan who could do everything, like Karl Malone, those guys who could do everything. Then you had power forwards that can stretch the floor like Rasheed Wallace, who can initiate breaks like Kevin Garnett. So this is going to be an exciting one, man, because there's so many openings that you can jump into this power forward division.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. So we all just start talking about the position in itself. Just what I think of a power forward is definitely rebounds, right? They definitely help the center with the boards. They're able to switch off, definitely post defender. I feel like now, obviously, it's evolved. But when I was coming up in, the 80s, 90s, that power forward position was definitely be able to defend the block because that was the era of the big man, which I hope is coming back soon. But that's pretty much my definition of the big guy. Mike, what you got?
Man, I think when I first think of power forwards, it hasn't really changed much. That's I look at it, that's the muscle. That's the guy that protects the best guy, the guy that goes in and he's physical, he's a brute. You look at guys like David West, you look at guys like Charles Oakley, Charles Barkley. In the 80s, 90s, those are the guys that, Rick Mahorn kind of guys that was going, you come through there, it's going to be some smoke coming through.
You better bring your lunch.
Yeah, so like you said, so now it's kind of changed a little bit. They have to be as versatile as a perimeter guy, but still be able to, like you said, play on the block, defend the block. They got to be able to guard a guard on the pick and roll switches and stuff like that. But, when I think of power forward, the first thing that came to mind was like, that's the muscle. If you look at teams that have won lately, they had the muscle. Draymond Green is the muscle. Yeah. Loving, hating. That ball
when he's on.
When he's on. But when he's off, he does the stuff that, we don't necessarily quote unquote stat.
Right.
But that's what I think about that power forward position. He's the muscle.
What you got, Larry?
You know what, man? Similar to Mike, man. I consider power forwards, man, like the anchor. Because or the utility guy, because your power forward, man, has to be able to cover different positions at times, especially when you're talking about switches in those pick and rolls, those sorts of things, man, to give that center some relief on those. Just holding everything down, man, being able to move all across that floor, man, because that's how important that position is. So for me, man, I consider the power forward like the anchor of that five.
Agreed. I like all those. I mean, to me, for one, I'm a 70s kid. I watched basketball in the 80s and the 90s, and the power forwards that I grew up watching, it's like your Oakleys, your Anthony Masons. You know what I'm saying? Those guys that made you feel coming through the paint, the Bill Lambiers. You know what I'm saying? And then as we were growing up, the game was growing as well. And some of these power forwards begin to do more things than just be that enforcer in the paint, so to speak. You can start to see it with the Kevin McHale's of the world. You know what I'm saying? When they started to hit that 15 to 20-foot jump shot, which made power forwards like Anthony Mason and Anthony Davis and Dale Davis, those type of guys, out of their element. And so the game had to evolve, and it went from those guys to Rasheed, to being able to stretch that, to be able to start a break from the rebound. You know what I mean? You didn't want Charles Barkley might have been the one guy in the 80s and 90s that had grabbed the rebound, and like the coach wouldn't get mad because your power forwards dribbling the ball up the floor. Like when we got the rebound, it was get the ball to your outlet. You know what I mean? Nowadays, that power forward grabbed that ball, and I can make the right decision, put the pass on the spot. I can actually pull up and hit the free throw line jump shot. I can hit the floater. I can go all the way to the rack. I mean, so I think this position has evolved and developed probably like the three has. You know what I'm saying? I just think this is turned into a much bigger version of the three.
Yeah.
Good deal. So I was thinking about doing something a little different, Dame. We're just going to name off some players, and if everybody has them in their top five, we're not going to talk about. I want to talk about the ones that didn't make somebody's top five. Does that make sense?
Well, that's going to be hard, bro. That's going to be hard.
Because I feel like everybody ain't got the same top five.
We don't, so but this I think it's harder to get a top five out of the power forwards than it is any other position. Because there's some really good power forwards. You got Tim Duncan. You got Karl Malone.
Tim Duncan. Is that in everybody's top five?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's one for me. He's one for me.
That's who I got number one. You know what I mean? I got
that ain't who I got number one.
Who you got?
But he's in your top five.
Yes, he is in my top five. Matter of fact, Timmy is number two.
Who's your number one?
Kevin McHale.
You can't go wrong with that. You can't go
with Lurch. Can't go wrong with Lurch.
Hey, man, he had footwork. He was, I almost want to say he was Timmy D before Timmy D, because he was known for his footwork was better. His footwork is what he was known for. He'll give you
Yes.
that drop step. He'll give you the reverse pivot. He'll give you the pump fake. Go back and look at the video. Do have foot moves close to Elijah Wood.
No, he was cool. I think my number one, man, is Kevin Garnett, man. And probably the reason why I like Kevin Garnett is because he was a mix of Kevin McHale, because don't forget when he got drafted, Kevin McHale was in Minnesota.
Yep.
He was able to knock shots down, but more than anything, his passion was what made me feel like, dog, I'll run through the wall for you, bro, because you'll do the same for me.
It's hard. It's hard.
And when he came in at what, 18?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He hit the ground running. Tell me a year
Like,
he had an
like
off
running.
year.
Hey, the off year was when he was ready to leave Minnesota.
Yeah, he had a bad year, but then check this
But
out.
I got a question.
But it was still better than 90% of the other players in the league's year.
I got a question for that. And I'm just throwing it out there just for the panel to talk about. It just dawned on me. He was in Minnesota all that time and never got him as far as they never made the Western Conference Finals, right?
No.
They did.
With Garnett?
They didn't get to the Western Conference Finals.
I don't think they got to the Western Conference Finals.
So, as far as being number one is being able to carry a team, and not to say that McHale did. Obviously, he was on the super squad, so he's my number one. Part. I just like to say, I guess, does that say something when he couldn't get a team there?
No, because if you look at NCAA high school pros, it was never just one guy. It was always a collective group. I mean, Mike had Scotty, Mike had the other guys. You look at the teams that win the NCAA championship, the teams that have the best bench win the NCAA Final Four. In the pros, the teams that have the better team, all-around team. Remember, Marbury bounced.
Yeah, I was about to say Marbury was there.
And Sprewell couldn't feed his family.
Malik Seeley was there.
Oh,
they had
a pacer.
Wally Zerbiak.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, Wally Zerbiak was there.
Wally Zerbiak, but those guys weren't ready to. Yeah, I think back then the West was loaded.
Yeah, it was a gauntlet, man.
But that's why I said Western Conference. I didn't even say finals because I knew that wasn't there. Yeah. I just didn't know if they at least made it. Like if they made it at least to the Western Conference final, I would give them.
The Lake Show was rolling.
Phoenix was rolling.
Sacramento was rolling.
San Antonio.
Dallas.
Because at that time, San Antonio was winning every other year.
They had J Kidd down in Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, you had Houston. You had them young gunners. Stevie Francis was down in Houston.
Yeah. The West was.
Yeah. The West.
We didn't even talk about the franchise on shoot guards.
No, we didn't. And he was a beast. But I feel like longevity plays a part in this as well. So I feel like he was good and then he was gone. Like, what happened to him?
So does any one of you have Larry Johnson or Chris Webber in your top five?
No.
No. I got a dilemma. I was talking to Henry about this. I want to know if I could do a 5A, 5B because he's
trying to get Webber in there.
Man.
He's trying to get Webber in there, buddy.
Yeah, and I told him why. I was like, look behind me. How can I not get Webber in there?
I mean, that's why I asked.
He was a part of that era where it was this, another evolution. He was taking the ball at the 4 position. He was dropping dimes. Oh, the dimes. He was dropping dimes. And he would be able to make shots in the post, dunk on you. Wasn't really nothing that guy couldn't do.
I think his was longevity. That's why he's not in my top 5. Because Webber was really good for a couple years. Like he had them few in Golden State and a couple in Sacramento. Then it was You know what I mean? We didn't have Weber for a long time. You know what I mean? We didn't have a
Didn't he
decrease
play with the Bullets?
of Weber.
He played
But
with
was he
Washington,
good
right?
with the
He played with
Bullets?
Yeah, he played
Yeah, he was
with
good. That was when him and Jawan were together in Washington.
And how far did they go again?
Yeah.
Mike was in the league, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, man, but they were young at that time too. The Bullets, they as talented as they were a really young team at that time too.
Yeah.
So when you got, because I think there was one point because Rod Strickland was with them at one point, but that team didn't stay together very long in Washington because it started to become about money. Guys getting paid. But that Bullets team had they had some guys, man. I think Rasheed was there at one point.
He played for the Bullets. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Was Calvert Chaney on that team too?
Calvert Chaney, yeah.
Calvert Chaney. Well, you had it. I mean, I looked at it. You had that Washington team had a lot of really good. They had a lot of great college players, and they ended up being good NBA players. And that's not going to win, and that's not going to get you on top 5 lists. You know what I mean?
And
these guys
that we got have a superstar.
And these guys on the top 5 list, these guys might not have taken their guys to the championship, but they put their guys and brings to that. Like Iverson is on the top 5 list. He might not have won a championship, but he led his guys to an opportunity. Like
you put him on his back.
You didn't lead anybody to an opportunity, and you were a part of some really good teams. You know what I mean? And not to say Iverson didn't fight against really good teams too, but he led them past those teams to get to an opportunity. Weber didn't do it in the West or the East.
Yeah, but the one I still couldn't. But the 5B, Sean Kemp, is he on there? Anybody's list?
Oh, I would love to put him on my list. He's on my personal list.
I didn't put him in the top 5, but he'd be a good second teamer.
Because he at least took him to the finals. He went up against Mike, and that was his squad.
And that was a really good
fell off during the lockout.
I got Sean Kemp. I got Sean Kemp as an honorable mention. You can do honorable mention for Sean Kemp.
Yeah, you can give you honorable mention.
Hey man, that dude and GP together was beautiful to see, man.
Hey, they was exceptional on NBA Jam.
Yeah.
He's on fire, son. You throw a loss from Kemp down the hallway. Now, Kemp was important to me, man, because he gave me that burning desire to make people feel bad in the air. You know what I'm saying? Sean Kemp was a guy, when I watched him dunk on Edwards, go to the crouch and point at him. Right then, I knew every time I went to the rack, I had to posterize everybody that was in the way, and I did that. Like, that's how I went to the rack, and that's how I got so many people put on posters, and that's how I led, Lawrence North in charges my senior year too, because I tried to dunk on everybody. Didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to catch everybody at the rim. And I thank Sean Kemp for that, man. I actually wore Reeboks 1 year just because of him.
Sean Kemp was a real deal, man. And if you noticed that it was a point in his career where he had got a little jumper, man, from 15, 16 feet. He was a part of a part of that wave of power forwards where you started to see the game, the position change a little bit because he started to become one of those hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like he was just being smart, and the smart ones do, like MJ, like Kobe. When it gets towards the end, they got that turnaround jump shot. They got that mid-range a little more down pat.
Especially when he went to Cleveland.
That's what I said. When he was in Cleveland, it was all jump shots.
Pigeon-toe jump shots.
Picked up about 200 pounds. So
that was a Hennessy. Now, well, where does Larry Johnson slide on people's list?
I think he was a great college player. In the NBA, I feel like I look at his height, I look at him, and I kind of compare him to Barkley, and I'm taking Barkley. Like, he was almost there for that era. But that's where I got him. He's right there with Barkley, but I got Barkley a little bit ahead just because I see them so much of the same type of player.
When LJ came in the league, when he came, he was barnstorming. When he was with Charlotte and Muggsy Bogues and them,
And
like he was
Lonzo.
Lonzo and David Wingate.
Was Ogden there? Stacey Ogden, was he there or no?
No, Ogden was in. He played for the Hawks.
He was in Atlanta.
Yeah,
he was with the Hawks. But LJ first came in.
Wasn't Curry on the team?
Dale
Curry. Yep, Dale Curry. Yep.
But then LJ got hurt. He hurt his back. And then when he went to LA, he went to New York, he just kind of fit in.
Where he fit in.
Yeah, he was kind of like the new muscle. You know what I'm saying? And then he started hitting the jump shot, and then I think he just kind of faded off, because he was just injured.
Yeah.
So do you see Zion Williamson being a new version of Larry Johnson?
I got to see Zion Williamson play.
Yeah, more than a game and a half.
If he doesn't play, if he's just gonna be a social media sensation, then okay.
Hey, I will put the asterisk out there.
Make money however you can make your money.
Listen, I wasn't a big Zion dude coming out because I'm looking at the YouTube, I'm looking at the competition. Then I see you go to Duke and you do the same things in way better competition. So I'm like, okay, I'll give him a little talk. Then you get to the league. The games that you play, he might be one of the most efficient scorers who don't shoot jump shots in the game. But like you said, availability is the best ability. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to see you on the floor. You know what I mean? One less cheeseburger.
And you know what I would say? I'd say along with Mike, man, I don't think we got enough. We didn't get to see enough of Larry Johnson and what he could have been because of that, because of those injuries. Because when you look at when he was first with Charlotte, oh man, when him and Zoe played together, that was grandmama, man. When he was grandmama, you saw the flashes, man, but you never got to see. You never got to see his ceiling, right. And so because of that, and so after that, he was more of a role type of a player when he got to the Knicks. But man, I would have loved to see where he would have been had his career had a bit more longevity, and if he could have stayed away from injury.
The React juice.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't help it.
Where does Dirk fall? What do y'all feel about Dirk?
Top 5.
I have
to. In your top 5?
You kind of have to put him in the top 5. But that's why I'm saying this division is so hard because as soon as I put somebody in, I got to take somebody out.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then there's another one. I'm like, oh, this was hard, man. Because we didn't even say nothing about
Dirk paved the way for what the power forwards are doing now.
That's true. I've got him, man. Damn. I've got him 5. Man, Mike is right, man. But I got him 5B. I got Dirk like right there. I got him right there. Man.
It's tough. How nasty Dirk was. That's a tough call. Dirk, that's a tough call. That's a tough.
That's no wrong answer right there. That's definitely no wrong answer.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's a tough one, man. He's what he did for the game. And he won. He won, and he was.
And he did it his way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He stayed true. He stayed loyal to Dallas. I mean, he had the opportunity to go jump over there with Kobe in LA. They wanted him bad. And he was there. He was in there, but he's like, nah, I'm Mark Cuban. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. And it paid off for him. He put the team around him. They built it around him, and he beat LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man,
even though LeBron quit, he beat LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
He got that Miami Heat LeBron squad, man. That solidified Dirk right there.
And he got a shot that was damn near unblockable. That that leg up shot, not a lot of people was blocking that. So when you engineer a shot that is high percentage and then that definitely puts you up there. Even though he's not my top 5, I still got a lot of respect, a lot of love.
I was just watching before we come on. I was watching the Aces and the Storm play. You know, it's Subaru's last home game in Seattle, regular season home game in Seattle. So I'm watching this game, and 4 trips up the floor, I see Asia Wilson, one leg off the back, jump shot. Where does that come from? Dirk. That's all the way in the women's game. All the way in the women's game. Let's go get it. Dirk is a guy, man. And he got jungle fever.
It's hard to leave Dirk outside of that top 5, man. It is.
All right. Does anybody? So first, I guess the first question is, where do we put James Worthy? Y'all got him at a 3 or 4? Because I kind of remember him being at the 4.
The list has him at a 3 because that's what he played in North Carolina. That's what he was listed as a Laker. But rotations, he ended up at the 4 a little bit.
I thought Cooper was more like a 3. Him at the 4.
I guess just depending on what year it was.
Yeah, I guess that. But I feel like I did see him play a little 4, and definitely if you guys category, if you put him in the category, he's definitely worth mentioning.
It just kind of depends on the Lakers' rotation because at some point in time, like when Magic was the point, you had Coop at the 2, you had Byron Scott at the 3, you put Worthy at the 4, Kareem at the 5.
Yeah.
Then you got a little bigger when you went Mike, Coop, Worthy at the 3, Michael Thompson at the 4. Then you put Kareem at the 5. I'm gonna probably put Worthy at the 3 because he just the way he ran the lanes. He was always a lane filler.
Right.
Yeah. I saw Big Game James more as a small forward too.
Big Game James.
For the way he played, for the style of play he had. Now, there were some times though when they used to play Boston, he was at that 4 spot though. Because I remember him and McHale used to go at it.
They had to. They had to put him down there because couldn't nobody keep up with Kevin.
Yeah, so there was, depending, like Mike said, depending on the matchups. But I think for the most part, his game was more like a small forward. Especially the way he got up and down, man. Like from end to end, filling the lanes like that. Ooh,
hey, can I ask you a question? Have you ever seen James Worthy dunk with 2 hands, man? Ever?
Maybe in college.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Maybe in college.
I need to see footage, man. I ain't seen James Worthy dunk with 2 hands ever.
That's fact.
Now that you mentioned, I'm sitting there.
He always had the 1 hand, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. But I want to say I might have seen it in college. I don't know.
I gotta see some.
I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
You gotta look it up. ESPN Classics got something
right there, Mike. That's a real good one.
Yeah, I gotta figure out, man. He's just,
I mean, now we mention it. Now we're mentioning, some of these good power forwards that we all know about. But let's get into these conversations about these guys where the debate is who's the best. You get into the Karl Malones, you get into the Tim Duncans, you get into the new school Giannis Antetokounmpos. You know what I'm saying? Like, this power forward division is tough. Like, Karl Malone was a beast. He was a beast at Louisiana Tech, and he was a beast in the league. He wasn't a beast with the Lakers, but he was a beast in the league.
Yeah. It's still Tim Duncan's still at the tip top for me, man.
Well, I'm not questioning that. I'm just it has to be a conversation.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm a Tim Duncan guy.
Yeah, well, and so here's the thing. Like before we came on, Brian and I was talking about this. Like all of these guys are interchangeable, right? So you could have whoever your 1 is not going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you said Karl Malone, you said KG. Whoever you say, you're just not gonna go wrong, man. So that's the way I see it. I don't know, man. It's God, Tim Duncan, man, the type of game he had, and at the time he played, to be able to get 5 rings in
and
that
didn't
Western
say shit,
man,
and didn't talk,
right.
nothing.
He just went
Nah,
out and
I rarely saw a commercial. If I did,
and the
he might have had
respect,
a deodorant.
and I'll say this: the respect that Kevin Garnett gave Tim Duncan let me know right there how cold Tim Duncan was. Because KG has always said, man, he could talk the biggest shit to Tim Duncan, and it never mattered. Tim Duncan never let KG get him off of his square. He
Had
never
the same
did.
face. Had the same face.
Yeah, exactly. And to hear that come from KG, man, that told me right there all I needed to know in terms of where Tim Duncan ranked for me.
Hey man, some of them North Carolina Wake Forest battles were outstanding with Rashid and Timmy. You know what I'm saying? Them was, like no one knew what Wake Forest was, but they knew who Timmy Duncan was. Like he was that guy, man.
Yeah.
I still got to go with mine, Mikhail, for the reasons I stated earlier. That's my number one. He's got the rings, even though he was on the super team. But I feel like there's only really been one NBA champion of our life living, and I feel like that was that Detroit Pistons. Didn't have like really a superstar. They were just excellent at whatever role they were playing. But I still got to go with Mikhail.
I'm glad you brought up that Detroit Piston because I was waiting to see where people place Rodman.
I had Rodman 5.
But we didn't nobody place him yet.
I got Rodman. I had Rodman at 5. I actually interchanged because I had it was between him and Dirk, man. And the only reason I picked Rodman was because the Bulls don't beat Utah without Rodman, man.
True.
Yeah.
They don't beat Utah without Rodman. And the one thing, especially the way I look at Dennis Rodman was, as talented as he was defensively, you can talk about all the defensive teams he was on, but mentally, man, he could get you off of your game mentally. I look at how he played Karl Malone. It looked like Karl Malone put up numbers against the Bulls, right? But he got Karl Malone mentally. He had him mentally shook, man. And that's where I give Dennis Rodman the edge because he was like that anchor. And you even heard it in the Last Dance. Mike was like, "Listen, without Dennis, the way he talked about Dennis, man, was like, yeah, Dennis was that guy."
Man, Mike didn't go to Vegas to pick up anybody.
But I feel like people don't know is crazy. Well, not crazy. I'm trying to think of a better word as provocative. Provocative as as he was, that the work that he put in, because you also kind of saw in the documentary how he would watch people and how they shoot and how the ball was short, how it would come off, the intricate details of the game. I'm not sure how many other players was going into it that deep just to get rebounds.
He's got the most 20 rebound games in NBA history by a large margin. Don't know if anybody will ever close that gap. He's got the most 2020 games. He's got the longest streak of 20 rebounds in a row for NBA history. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude's got the most 20 rebound games with no points in NBA history.
Yeah. And to think about a Hall of Famer, to think about that position, man, he revolutionized that position as well. When you think about starting at Detroit, because he emerged in them later Detroit series that they had, man, and to see, he was guarding Matt. At one point he was guarding Matt. He could guard damn near anybody on the floor, especially when he was younger. Defensive footwork was impeccable, and the way he cleared out the paint, man, with those rebounds, man, like he For that time, he changed that position. He changed that position as well.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that.
I agree. Dennis Rodman made rebounding cool. If you think about it, rebounder started to get paid after he became who he was. You know, I don't know. I don't think I won't have him in my top 5 just simply because I need somebody who wants to score.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't want to. He didn't need. He played on teams where he didn't need to score.
Yeah,
like
but
he was the rebounding defensive anchor of 3 different franchise championships of multiple rings. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have to score, but in college, Dennis Rodman at NIAA, or wherever it was, at Southwest Oklahoma State, because we played him in Paris. We didn't play Dennis, but we played the school. He's got records everywhere. I mean, he led the school and he led the NIA in scoring and rebounding. Like it wasn't that he couldn't score. It's like I don't have to. Like I played with Lambeer, the microwave, and Isaiah Thomas. You know what I'm saying? There was no need for me to score. And Dumars, there was no need for me. There wasn't no need for me to score.
Yeah.
I go to San Antonio, I'm playing with David Robinson and Sean Elliott or Avery Johnson, these other guys. I don't need to score. You know what I'm saying? I go to Chicago, I'm playing with Mike and Scotty. I don't need to score. You know what I mean? I can't harp him for it not being not being his go-to. His niche was rebounding and defense. And none of those teams win without Rodman.
No, absolutely. But Mike got a point though, man. Mike still has a point because this is where for me I can interchange Dennis and Dirk. Like Dirk could be that 5A, Dennis could be 5B. I've just got Dennis right there, man, because I just think about those last championships that Chicago had. They wouldn't have beat Utah without him. There's no way because he was the one that neutralized Karl Malone. Like I said, it looked like Karl Malone put up numbers, right? But when you really think about some of those games where Dennis Rodman got him up out of his game, I mean, that was so
focused on trying to beat Dennis, you forgot about the team concept.
Exactly. Yep.
I like the one thing I like about Dennis, and I heard this statement the other day. Somebody said you can't teach a dumb player to be smart, but sometimes a smart player can make you think that he's dumb. And so Dennis Rodman, all his theatrics and all the eccentric stuff that he did, he was, kind of goes back when somebody said, Mike said he was smart. I knew, he knew how to switch. He could watch the ball. I could tell which way it's going. Mike, when you shoot it, your shot's going to be this way. And, so when you look at now, he was the muscle.
Yeah.
He knew at the end of the day,
he was that guy.
He go down. He was going to be there. So, I'm going to probably put him on the 5B squad.
and
honorable mention.
Another thing with Dennis, man, like that dude was in superb shape, man. Like, and
for all the things he was doing.
It was only a couple of guys that I knew, man, personally, that could do what he did, man, the night before, nights in a row, and come back, man. And just like Mike, I was watching matter of fact, I watched The Last Dance a couple of days ago again, and Mike talked about he came back from that Vegas trip. They did that Indian drill, and Dennis killed him out. They tried to keep up with him in that damn Indian drill. And he film studied too. A lot of people don't know, man. Dennis Rodman, he really studied the game. He studied who he was guarding. He studied all the positions. He really film studied and studied like those intricacies of defense, man, and how he was going to play somebody and all of that. All of those things similar to what Mike was saying in terms of how he positions himself on the floor, where he's looking at the ball and all that sort of stuff. Like, he actually really studied the game.
Yeah.
I bet you Dennis was good at pool. My bad, billiards.
I was about to say both definitions. I got another honorable mention. Just a guy I wanted to talk about. because he played on Syracuse. I know Derek Coleman is an honorable mention, but I feel like he was a guy that can't be lost in history because I feel like he did well. I feel like was that Syracuse team that lost to Bob Knight now?
To IU, yes.
Was that them?
He was a sophomore.
He was a sophomore that year.
Ronnie
They ended
Cycle
up winning one.
Uh-uh.
I don't think they won one.
No, that would be Carmelo.
But in the league, Derek Coleman put in work on the low.
Hey, Derek Coleman was a beast at Syracuse and at the beginning of his career in the NBA. But again, injuries, and then he put on weight, and that's what killed him. Like, have y'all seen him? I don't know, Mike. You might have, because he has a really good AAU program out of Michigan, and I've seen him a couple of times.
Out of the Detroit area, yeah, he's big now. He just get older. He put on a lot of weight. So when he was with the Nets, when he came in with the Nets, he was shit. He was
oh man.
He was like how
he was like C Webb almost a little bit before C Webb,
because it was him and Drazen Petrovic, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was on that squad.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That combination right there was so ridiculous, man.
They was a scary team.
Here's the other thing with Derek too, man. As talented as he was, and we've seen this, as talented as he was, I don't think we really got to see his ceiling though either.
Yeah.
He went through. You think about all the coaching changes he went through, all the systems he played in. Mm-hmm. He never had Derek Coleman never had a true foundation. A true foundation wherever he played, man, because it was always a coaching change.
Yeah.
So he's always getting used to another system. With that, I mean, his talent stood out, no doubt. But we never got to see. We just never got to see his true ceiling, man. I think Derek Coleman could have been one of the greatest power forwards of all time.
Yeah, he would have been really nice without a lot of changes and injury.
Yeah.
Injuries is the big factor here, man. Injuries it keeps a lot of people down. Yeah. Like we talked about it through a lot of the other positions. We've had a lot of guys who looked the part and was ready to be that part, but the injuries kept them from being that part. And the power forward is nonetheless from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, quite frankly, for me, I can't leave out Karl Malone. You know what I'm saying? Karl was an Iron Man, man.
And he stayed.
That's back when it was fashionable to finish the season. It was fashionable to play for the fans.
Yeah, no load management, man. He played full regular seasons on into them playoffs in Stockton.
It was easy to play all them 82 games when you wasn't being the daddy. Yeah, I said
it. Yeah, you think about you gotta throw in that longevity, man. But Derek Coleman, when he played and when you saw him play, man, it was like, man.
And he was a lefty.
I would have loved to have seen. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen what his true ceiling could have been, man, because he could have been up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like this power forward, man. There's so many, and I know that we're just missing like so many more.
Yeah,
I got on my B team. I'm gonna put Amari Stoudemire on my B team.
Yeah, and health was his reason too.
Yeah, you can put Amari on there.
You put him with Nash, him and Nash. Actually, if it wasn't for what happened? Was it someone pushed the ref or some people came on? What was it? The Phoenix Lakers Western Conference Finals where like everybody.
I don't know. Somebody punched Steve Nash or something. So, yeah,
but I thought it was like a bunch of people came on the court. Therefore, they all got suspended. And like that next game,
that was against the Spurs. Actually, that was against the Spurs.
Was it the Spurs? Okay,
that was the Spurs. No, that was a Spurs. That was a Spurs game.
Man, that was that.
Because then they had Sean Marion on that team too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had that was the year. I love Steve Nash, but I was
Kobe
so upset.
Should have won MVP.
Yeah, because Kobe didn't get the MVP.
Yeah, but Kobe should have had at least two. He should have had at least two.
Yeah, and you look and see what Amari did. Came in the league, New York, Phoenix. He just didn't shoot the ball very well, but he was a great finisher.
He was a great on that pick and roll. Is what it was.
You
get a guard that's good at pick and roll, and you get him.
Him and Steve Nash kind of they reinvented the new Stockton to Malone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Stoudemire is when and I put Blake Griffin in the same situation. Once his athleticism was not a factor in his game anymore, then he was kind of an obsolete player because he couldn't shoot the ball, wasn't all that hot on the free throw line, wasn't reliable, wasn't like a really good defensive anchor. So it just like, what do we do with you? And then it became like he's being traded everywhere. And as we're buying out contracts, and then he's on NBA.com.
Yeah.
And so like you just gotta, I mean, you gotta develop your game. I think that's one thing with any player is you have to develop your game. You can't stay in one spot or you'll get passed up. I mean, I think that's why Blake Griffin's decline was so fast. Like he was hot. Like I wasn't a real big fan anyway, because I thought like you was like, if you take away the dunking, you're not shit.
When you think about Amari, man, he ended up having one of those knee injuries, man, similar to C. Webb, right? And after that, like you just said, Damon, after that, his athleticism was gone, man, and so he never developed his game to a point to where he had to have more of a round game.
He wasn't healthy enough to develop his game.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, even when he was healthy, he wasn't doing them because it was that pick and roll. It was never the pick and pop.
No, he was doing something. He was definitely doing something.
He was doing something. Yeah, it was the pick and roll. It was the lob. You know, if Steve couldn't get him the lob, then Steve would keep dribbling. It wasn't like Stockton and Malone's pick and roll. Well, you stop the roll, Malone can pop and hit that jump shot.
Yeah.
Malone can pop and hit that jump shot. Tim Duncan can pop and hit that jump shot off the glass. Rasheed Wallace can pop and hit that jump shot. Weber can hit that jump shot. Stoudemire could not. You know what I mean? Some of those guys couldn't hit that, and that's what kept you in that C team level, so to speak. You know what I mean? The guys who had that little extra
tier.
Yeah, the lower tier. You know what I mean? You still have a Hall of Fame career, but you're, you know what I mean, the last guy who graduated from medical school is still a doctor.
Yeah, he's that B team like Mike said.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
You got anybody else going?
I got a couple. I keep it going because I like Buck Williams on the low. Feel like Buck Williams was just on teams. Like he always put in work. I'm sorry. My guy put in work, especially for that era. He was with Brooklyn. He was with Portland at the end, right? Playing with
he was a beast when he was with Milwaukee, though.
Buck.
Yeah.
His best years was in Milwaukee, though. He was a beast. He was a beast in Milwaukee. I think that's when him and Terry Cummings played together.
Wow.
Terry Cummings and Sidney Moncrief. He played with them on Milwaukee. Yeah, he was a beast when he played for Milwaukee.
Buck was tough in Portland. He was
that anchor
towards
for
the
them.
end, but he was still solid. He was starting.
He was that anchor for Portland.
Wasn't Cliff Robinson a power forward too?
No, he was a 3 on my squad.
I thought he came out the bench.
Cliff Robinson he was coming behind Buck Williams though.
And then when Buck left, then he just took over. But yeah.
What
about Otis Thorpe with them big old hands?
Now I ain't never seen him dunk with 2 hands.
Ever.
He's a one.
Yeah, he was a good compliment to those 2 Houston championships.
Yeah, you know those guys are good. I mean, you got to throw one of the Davis boys in there for a minute.
I was going to ask him about Antonio.
There'll be a C team. They're good.
Definitely.
They're good.
Before the era, they definitely fit the team that they were on. They weren't superstars, but they were good in their roles.
Yep, they were good in their roles.
Where do y'all put Oakley? Yeah.
C.
Nick's Oakley.
CD.
The
C/D.
The
yeah,
muscle.
he was really the muscle.
Yeah, he was definitely the muscle. Yeah.
Yeah, he was not on there to do anything productive except put people on their ass.
Yeah, no. Make sure Michael is safe is what his role was. And
I
then
like Horace Grant. I think he's a BC guy.
Yeah,
and he
Yeah.
had the jumper.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the he was that played that Dennis Rodman role before Dennis for the first three.
Yeah.
He gave him scoring. He gave him scoring from the
rebounds,
paint.
and he was versatile. He was very versatile.
Yeah. He scored. Yeah, he scored too. Yeah.
What about Dame? What do you think about Antoine Jameson?
Well, he went to North
He
Carolina.
could put up buckets. You can never take that away. The dude could put up buckets.
Yeah, he can score.
Yeah, he could. He can score, but yeah, okay.
But when you talking,
he's not on any of those teams. He's not.
I know, but now it's just I get that. But once you get past the list, then there's still people you just want to talk about. People you remember doing well in their roles. So
I remember him better. I liked him.
There.
I remember him better at North Carolina. I think his name was better in college than it was in the league. Not to say he didn't have a decent NBA career. It's like when I think of Antoine Jameson, I think North Carolina.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying, Tyler Hansborough, because he played 5 years.
No one better ever say his name, unless we're doing the not top 10 or something like that.
Hey, where do y'all put Sheed? Where do y'all put Rasheed at, man?
Rasheed is like my 5B, 5A. Like I was a Rasheed dude, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed was my guy.
Sheed is like he's the number one B guy.
He's the first one coming. He's number 6, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
he's number 6.
She was consistent. Barring the arguments and all that and the technicals and all that, once he played the game, he was a valuable piece. He could shoot the three. He could rebound. He could handle it a little bit. Wasn't as much of a back to the basket player as some of the other guys were, but from Detroit to Portland, he was just a solid 4.
Okay, so let me ask you this,
he was
Mike,
better back to back. He was better back to the bucket basket in college. Like in the paint, he was a beast in college because only thing he did on the outside was run that secondary break that North Carolina was famous for. And then after he rotated, he dived straight to the block and they give it to him. You know what I'm saying? He was scoring back then, but then when he came to the league, it was in that transition period where those 4s were shooting that mid-range to the
I was about to say, I feel like his post move was the turnaround jumper, right?
That
Arms
jump
all
hook.
the way up, that turnaround jumper, kept it up high.
She definitely developed his game towards that, man. So with that, you taking Sheed, who would you take first? Chris Webber or Rasheed Wallace?
See, I'm out that conversation.
Yeah,
NBA.
Your draft. You a general man. You a general manager, Mike. You got Rasheed, C. Webb, both on the board. Who you taking first?
Knowing what I know now.
Knowing what you know now.
I'm about to go with Sheed.
Okay.
Yeah, Sheed had definitely longevity, and he was.
I was a Fab 5 guy. I was a Fab 5. I'm in Michigan. In JUCO as a freshman, Jalen Rose was he was a big point guard. So that was who but when I look at Sheed and I know, and we got all the info we got now, he's a champion with Detroit. And I like his versatility.
Yeah. Okay.
C. Webb is a great passer. He's in the paint the majority of the time. If I run and pick and roll with C. Webb, he's got to roll. He's going to always roll. So they're going to always be able to make defensive adjustments to that. If I got Sheed, I can get him to pick and pop, and I can dive him down. Somebody runs out, and, he can kind of do his thing. So,
yeah, Sheed's automatic, but he was typically an automatic bucket when you needed him.
And she
Yeah,
played a
big
little better
shots.
defense. She played a little better defense. Like I
Hey,
would hate to
Storm,
have.
Storm,
Yeah,
you got that
That's
big
what I was
banner in the
about to say.
back.
We about to hold on now. Hold on.
You got that big. You got that big blue banner in the back, man.
Webb had a jumper. Now, I really have to think. I really have to think hard to see whose jumper was better, because Chris was shooting threes and she was shooting threes. Defense, C Webb had blocks now, and he had boards. I feel like his board work might be a little better than Rasheed's board work, to be honest.
I would agree with that because he's always down on the block. So now let me ask you
that
this.
was the error. That was the error, but he still could go out there.
Let me ask you this question.
Run the pipe.
Let me ask you this question. If you're defending, if you're scouting the team and Chris Webber's the 4, all right, you tell your big man, hey, if Chris Webber picks and pops and they kick it to C Webb, am I running out to contest the shot or am I giving a little cushion?
You're giving him cushion.
Oh yeah,
I'm giving him cushion.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
Cushion.
I mean, you might do that. That might be your plan.
No, I'm asking you.
Start setting threes.
I'm asking you.
I'm telling you as well. Like, I would be like, guard him, because if he starts hitting three, he can do both. Like, I'm sorry, to me, he could do both, just as well as Rasheed.
But who was more consistent with that though? Who was more consistent?
I feel like Rasheed was more consistent because of the longevity.
And he had a higher shooting percentage. He had a higher shooting percentage from the 3. I mean, he shot more of them and he hit more of them. You know what I mean? It's like this. I'll put it this way. I hate to, because at that time I was still a North Carolina basketball dude, but I was in that starting to love Michigan all around, because I'd always been a Michigan football fan. But I was starting to get all around Michigan, and the Fab Five came on, and like Mike, I was a Jalen Rose dude. One, he was left-handed. I'm left-handed. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. So it was hard. It's hard for me to pick, because I like both of those teams. But if you come down to it, Rasheed Wallace has winning championship DNA. Chris Webber didn't. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Wallace, the 3 years he was in the ACC, they won the ACC tournament and game, the regular season and the tournament. The Fab Five never beat IU or won the Big Ten title. Never won the Big Ten title. You had the best team in the Big Ten, and you never won the Big Ten title.
Big Ten
that
was
says
something
to me.
Big Ten
and so was the ACC, and so was the ACC. Because remember, the ACC was winning the championship.
I think
they were teams in the championship.
How many other teams in the ACC was?
Oh man, Duke.
Because I can go through the Big Ten.
Well, okay. At that point in time, I can go right to it. Sir, I mean, in the ACC, North Carolina was good. North Carolina State was good. Wake Forest was good.
Carolina State at?
Who did they have? Mike, you know who they had, because they had a first round draft pick. Because what's the name? It was a big dude. I can't remember what his name was.
You can't
tell me all the people. You can't tell me all the people that was in the Big Ten either.
No, but I can tell you at least
you can't
the
tell
stars.
me all the people.
I can tell you the stars. Let me go through
Who was
my
the star of
stars.
Minnesota? Who was it? But you stopped me before I told you mine. But who was the star of Minnesota?
Rashawn Leonard.
No, I said him. Who was the star of Minnesota?
Sorry.
Who was the star of Penn State?
Penn State was the guy.
Who was the star of Penn State?
Been there forever.
Who?
Michigan State was Sean Rashford, Eric Snow. IU was
the team that Michigan couldn't beat.
Yeah.
And then with the ACC, you had Wake Forest, you had Georgia Tech, you had Duke, North Carolina. Who else was in the ACC at that time that was good? There was teams of the ACC. Florida State was good because they had Charlie Ward, Heisman Trophy winner, going drafted. You're like, come on, they were balling down there.
I still feel like the Big Ten was a little better, man.
But the Big Ten wasn't winning championships. The ACC was.
That don't mean they weren't better teams.
Didn't Purdue have Glenn Robinson at that time too?
They did.
Out of that era.
Yeah, Big Dog. Yeah, Glenn Robinson was at Purdue at the time too.
I just told you.
That's who was winning the Big Ten.
That's who was winning the Big Ten.
Ohio State, Jim Jackson.
And then for one, you're gonna try to stick up for the Big Ten anyway, because you've always been Big Ten. You know what I mean? I'm Big Ten because of Michigan. I was ACC basketball. ACC was winning the national championships, just like the Big Ten is good in football, but the SEC is winning the national championships. So that's the end result. Who's winning the whole thing that's the better conference. I mean, they might win the ACC Big Ten tournament or challenge, but who's winning the tournament? Matter of fact, who put Michigan out of the tournament?
I wouldn't necessarily say the NCAA team that wins their conference is better. I wouldn't agree with that.
Because there's a lot of different variables. And I know we're going a little long. That's why I just kind of stopped the argument. There's a lot of variables to go in being that NCAA champ.
Because Kansas, the Big 12 was not the best conference this year.
No.
Kansas just got hot at the right time, and they had the better bench.
Yeah, and their road to it. The play, the teams at the times they played the teams. Yeah, there's just a lot of X factors.
Yeah, you send 9 teams to the Big Ten. You send 9 teams to the dance, and not one of them make the Final Four.
That's hard.
That hurts. That's 2 years in a row. That's 2 years in a row.
Now that statement right there, we've kind of in the coaching where I never put the last 3 years I did my bracket, I've never put a Big Ten team in the Final Four.
That's facts, man. I haven't either.
It's hard to, right? It's hard, man. You look at who was that? Who was that? Iowa won the Big Ten, right?
Michigan won the Big Ten.
With which team?
The tournament.
Oh, the Big Ten tournament.
Iowa wins the Big Ten tournament, and they lose the first round.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I don't really know. That doesn't say much about their conference.
It's been hard to trust the Big Ten the last few years, man. It's been hard. Yeah, it's been hard to trust the Big Ten the last few years.
Yeah, and there you got a power forwards in the Big Ten. Well, once again, this has been an absolute gem of a show talking about power forwards in the Big Ten. You can't get no better than that. When North Carolina and Duke switch over in 2 years to the Big Ten, we won't have this conversation anymore. So, but
Damon, I got one quick question for you, man. When is Kiefer giving it up?
He did. He retired last year. This is the first year without him.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, how long is this dude going to keep going, man?
Yeah, this was last season was the last season, and it was probably maybe his 3rd or 4th best team that he's ever had, and they didn't win.
Wow. Okay.
This last year?
Yeah, that was a really good team. That went, and then the pandemic. The pandemic team should have been a state team. And yeah, because the boys didn't even get through. Like the girls got theirs done, and it was that first weekend of the boys' state tournament. And that's when those 15 people in Westfield got sick.
I was about to say that's when Coach Logan got sick, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's when there was that first weekend, and then 15 people in the crowd got the COVID, and that's when they shut down Indiana basketball for the rest of the tournament. Yeah, that's when the
country shut down.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. So we didn't even get to see that team play. And I think he had lost one game going into the tournament. It was nice that year.
Oh, man. I was wondering how much longer he was going to keep going, man.
Yeah, they announced it last year. It was like it was right before the tournament. And he said it was going to be the final season. So they named a court after him a couple years ago. Most of us players went back. I think there was a little over 350 players that was surrounding the court when they named the court. They did video tributes from Oden and Conley and those guys who were still in the league at that time. So it was pretty cool.
Okay, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, we did get y'all in 95 in the sectionals, though.
I was gone.
We was there.
Yeah. All I know in 92 and 93, I did not lose to North Central.
In 92?
We won. No, we didn't lose. Yeah, we won county that year too. Shabaka, James Long. Yeah, we went them 3 times both years. County and the matchup in the first round.
Yeah, that was my senior year in 92.
My bad.
I remember it was county.
He said my bad.
I think he was like they had some sort of celebration for him after y'all beat us, and they rolled out this cake. And I spit on that cake. So if you have something, my bad. I'm sorry.
I didn't eat cake back then.
There you go. I'm glad you didn't. Hey, somebody ate that cake.
I was on a diet. I was a doughy. I was a little doughy.
I was pissed. I was like, man, y'all got a cake, man. Ain't nobody eating this cake.
Yeah, buddy, that was some good shit right there. No, but hey man, we thank you guys for coming on again. Like we let you know, you're always welcome to come on the show. I know Mike, your time is getting ready to be real touch and go. So just let us know. You know, we're during the season, we're on every Sunday, so we'll be good to go.
Good deal.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
Larry, it's been a pleasure,
man. Just want to thank you guys for coming out, Mike. You becoming one of the legends. We definitely gonna, reach out as much as possible.
Cool.
Appreciate everything you're doing right now and representing not only on the court but outside the court. Keep it up. Larry, you as well, man, doing your part to help the community. That's awesome to see, especially coming out of North Central. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time. More than welcome.
No problem.
As always, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Y'all be
no
safe,
worries.
man.
Hey, Mike, my big brother Mark said, "What up?"
Hey, what's up, Mark?
So, all right, fellas, thanks. All right, people, thanks for joining in. We'll see you guys next time. 2 weeks from this spot, we're doing centers. We're doing the man in the middle. We're doing the anchor, the guy, the sky hook.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're bringing the big man back. We're bringing back the relics, the lost art of the center. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a pleasure.
Bill Russell.
All right,
it's been a pleasure, BW Sports. You can check out all of our old broadcasts on the YouTube channel or on the website. You can check it out. You can see all the links and stuff in the bio. It's been a pleasure. We'll holler at you.
All right, peace.